Today I will tell you a really sad story, but you should learn something from it.
I sit here staring out the window. I can't help but think about all the things that have led me to this moment. The pain, the heartache, the loss. It's all been building up inside of me, weighing me down like a heavy burden that I can never seem to shake. It all started when I was just a child. My parents were both alcoholics, and they fought constantly. There were nights when I would lay in bed, listening to their screaming and the sound of glass breaking. I was always afraid, never knowing what would happen next. One night, when I was 9 years old, my father left for good. He packed up his things and disappeared without a word. My mother was devastated, and she turned to alcohol even more than before. I became her caretaker, making sure she ate and took her medication. It was a heavy burden for a child to bear, but I did it because I loved her. As I grew older, I started to resent my mother for her addiction. I felt like I was missing out on a normal childhood, like I was always on the outside looking in. I longed for the love and affection that I never received. When I was 18, I left home and never looked back. I went to college, got a degree, and landed a job in my field. I thought I had left all the pain behind, but it followed me like a shadow. One day, I received a call from my sister. She told me that our mother had died of liver failure. I felt numb, like the world had stopped turning. It was like a part of me had died with her. The funeral was a blur. I barely remember anything about it, except for the overwhelming feeling of loss. My mother had been the only family I had left, and now she was gone. In the weeks that followed, I tried to carry on with my life. I went to work, hung out with friends, and tried to distract myself from the pain. But it was always there, lurking in the background like a dark cloud. I started to drink more, just like my parents had. At first, it was just a way to numb the pain, but it quickly turned into a full-blown addiction. I would drink every night, sometimes until I blacked out. My friends tried to intervene, but I pushed them away. I didn't want to face the reality of my situation, didn't want to admit that I had become just like my parents. It wasn't until I lost my job that I hit rock bottom. I had been drinking at work, and my boss caught me. He gave me an ultimatum: go to rehab or lose my job. I chose wrong. For the next few months, I drifted from place to place, never staying in one spot for too long. I would couch surf, stay in cheap motels, and even slept on the streets a few times. I didn't care about anything except getting my next fix. It wasn't until I met Maria that things started to change. She was a volunteer at a homeless shelter, and she saw something in me that no one else had. She offered me a place to stay, and I accepted. At first, I was resistant to her help. I didn't want to admit that I needed anyone, that I was weak, but Maria was persistent, and she slowly started to chip away at my walls. She took me to our meetings, helped me find a job, and even went with me to therapy. It was hard work, and there were days when I wanted to give up, but Maria never gave up on me, and for the first time in years, I felt like I had a purpose. We fell in love quickly, and I knew that she was the one for me. She accepted me for who I was, flaws and all. She didn't judge me for my past, but instead helped me to focus on the present and the future. For a while, things were good. I stayed sober, worked hard at my job, and Maria and I were happy together. But as time passed, I started to feel the weight of my past creeping up on me once again. Memories of my childhood and my mother's death would haunt me at night, and I would wake up drenched in sweat. I started to withdraw from Maria, pushing her away just like I had done to my friends before. She tried to get through to me, but I was too far gone. I started drinking again, and soon enough, I was back to my old ways. Maria didn't give up on me, though. She stayed by my side, even when I didn't deserve it. But I knew that I was dragging her down with me, and I couldn't bear to see her suffer because of my mistakes. One day, I woke up with a pounding headache and a sense of shame and guilt that I couldn't shake. I knew that I had hit rock bottom once again. I looked around the room, at the empty bottles and the mess that I had made, and I knew that something had to change. I made the decision to leave Maria, to let her go and find someone who could give her the life that she deserved. I couldn't bear the thought of hurting her anymore, so I packed my bags and left. I didn't say goodbye, didn't leave a note. I just disappeared into the night, leaving behind the one person who had ever truly cared about me. It's been months since I left Maria, and I still think about her every day. I know that I made the right decision, that I had to let her go for her own sake, but the pain is still there, a constant reminder of all the things that I have lost. I've been sober since I left her, but sometimes it feels like I'm just going through the motions. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that I have to keep fighting, for myself, for my past, and for the love that I lost. Sometimes, I wonder if she still thinks about me too. I wonder if she's moved on, found someone new who can make her happy. The thought of her with someone else makes my heart ache, but I know that it's for the best. I've tried to keep myself busy, to fill the emptiness inside me with work and hobbies, but at night, when the world is quiet and still, I can't help but feel the weight of my loneliness. I miss her laughter, her smile, the way she would look at me with those bright, loving eyes. I miss the way she would hold my hand and tell me that everything would be alright. But most of all, I miss the way she made me feel, like I was worth something, like I was loved. I know that I don't deserve her, that I was a broken man who couldn't give her what she needed, but that doesn't stop me from wishing things could have been different. Sometimes, I dream about her. In my dreams, we're happy again, just like we used to be. We're holding hands and walking through the park, laughing at silly jokes and enjoying each other's company. But then I wake up, and the reality of my life hits me like a ton of bricks. I'm alone in my small apartment, surrounded by the ghosts of my past mistakes. I try not to dwell on the past, to focus on the future instead, but it's hard. especially when the future seems so bleak and uncertain. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know that I have to keep going. I have to keep fighting, even when it feels like there's no hope left. Maybe one day, I'll find someone who can make me feel alive again, someone who can make me forget about the pain and the past, and help me build a new future. But until then, I'll always carry Maria in my heart. The memory of her will be a constant reminder of what could have been, and what I lost when I let her go. I hope that wherever she is, she's happy and loved. She deserves nothing less than the very best, and I know that she'll find it someday. As for me, I'll keep moving forward, one step at a time. It won't be easy, but I'll keep trying, because that's all I can do.
If you enjoyed this story, feel free to like, subscribe and share to other friends. See you with another tale.